The UCL round of 16 draw is complete, and today I'm going to do my predictions for all of the upcoming fixtures. If you didn't get to see it, then here are all of the teams that were in pot 2 and all of the teams that were in pot 1. Obviously, you can only go up against someone from the opposite pot in the draw, and the pot 1 teams get the second leg at home, which is a massive advantage. And now we're going to get into my predictions for each of the round of 16 UCL games, followed by my reaction to my group stage predictions as well. Up first, we have Porto up against Arsenal. With Porto finishing on the same points as Barcelona, but with a worse head-to-head record, compared to Arsenal comfortably winning their group. This isn't the easiest tie that Arsenal could have got, but there are definitely significantly worse ones as well. Porto, a really difficult team, with Pepe at 40 years of age still smashing it. However, Arsenal are very good. For this one, Arsenal to go through to the next round. Napoli v Barcelona is arguably the most exciting match in this draw. With the stars of Osimhen and Kvaratskhelia up against João Felix and the gang, this is going to be an exciting one. Napoli were up against Real Madrid in their group, and so obviously Madrid won all their games. Napoli were destined to finish second, whereas Barca finishing top of their group sort of comfortably, but not in the most convincing way at the same time. This is a ridiculously hard match, or set of matches to call. But as a Barca fan, I've got to stay true. Barcelona are going through to the next round by beating Napoli. PSG were the main one that people wanted to avoid in this draw, as they were the biggest and best team or whatever in pot 2. They got quite lucky here because they got the arguably worst team in pot 1. So PSG versus Sociedad should, in theory, be the easiest matchup for a pot 2 team. I think in this fixture, we are going to see PSG progress past Real Sociedad, maybe the last hurrah for Mbappe at PSG. Inter Milan versus Atletico is a fantastic fixture here. Atletico of the past, always known as a 1-0 merchant Simeone system. This season they've had a little bit more freedom with Antoine Griezmann. Unbelievable. I think he's been one of the most underrated players of this generation. He actually put in one of the best performances I've ever seen live when they played against us in the Champions League quarter-final a few years ago. How times have changed. I'm now going to watch us play Birmingham away tonight. But Inter, top of Serie A, they are doing very, very well this year. So what a match, or set of matches we have in this fixture. I think with Atletico having the second match at home, that's going to be huge for the way that they like to play and get the crowd involved, especially when they want to just defend and stay true. Therefore, I believe that Atletico are going to beat Inter and they are going to go through to the next round. Maybe a controversial one? PSV versus Dortmund is the next fixture. PSV doing very well in the league. Dortmund obviously came so close last year to winning the league title and then threw it away right at the end. This year in the league, they're not doing that well, but they did top the group of death with PSG, AC Milan and Newcastle, so they have to be taken seriously on the European stage. They may have lost Bellingham, but they still have that fight and that hunger to win these massive matches. And I think that alone is going to take them through to the next round. So I'm going to go with Dortmund to knock out PSV in this round of 16 tie. The next tie is Lazio versus Bayern Munich. I feel like this one probably deserves one of the least amount of time out of all of these because Bayern Munich are just amazing. Harry Kane is unstoppable this season. Crazy what happens when an elite striker goes into an elite team. Imagine he goes and wins the Champions League with Bayern Munich after sitting at Spurs for so many years not doing anything. Surely Bayern absolutely dominate Lazio and go through to the next round. And the same should be said about this tie. We've got Copenhagen up against Manchester City. The irony of Man United fans saying that City get easy draws every year and then they complain when they pull the team that actually destroyed them to make them finish bottom of their group is quite funny. But you'd assume that Man City, Kevin De Bruyne will be back, Rodri will be fit and firing, Haaland will be ready to go, back from his injury as well. Surely they're going to just absolutely push aside Copenhagen and most likely dominate them over both legs. Also having the benefit of the second leg at home, this should be an easy pass through to the next round for Man City. And the final matchup is RB Leipzig against Real Madrid. Madrid are just unbelievable, and that man right there Jude Bellingham is just ridiculous. 20 games so far with more goal involvements than games played since moving. The guy is a phenomenon. He is absolutely incredible. And him, along with the rest of Real Madrid, aside from Alaba, who did actually do his ACL the other night, which is really, really unfortunate for them, they should just have way too much quality. They won all of their group games, including doing the double over Napoli, home and away. They should set Leipzig aside, and they are one of the favourites, if not the favourite, for the competition this year. So Real Madrid to beat Leipzig, home and away, should be an easy one. So those are all of my predictions for the round of 16 games. Let me know yours in the comments. And now we're going to very quickly take a look back at my predictions for the group stages and how they actually ended up. So this was my prediction for Group A. I had Bayern finishing first, United second, Galatasaray and Copenhagen fourth. And as we all know, Copenhagen actually went through and Man United came bottom. I mean, I got Galatasaray right. How did United concede 15 goals in a group stage? Ridiculous. They were garbage. The prediction was garbage. Let's move on. Next, I had Arsenal topping their group with Sevilla second, PSV third, and Lens fourth. Similar theme here. Sevilla actually came bottom of their group, but Arsenal did win it. Lens finishing below PSV, I got right, but goodness me. Sevilla, Man United. Mental. However, Sevilla have been significantly worse this season than I think anyone really predicted they would be. In Group C, I went with Real Madrid topping it with Napoli second, Braga third, and Union Berlin fourth. And ta-da! I actually got one bang on. However, this was probably one of the easiest groups to predict. So, Union Berlin started this season significantly worse than they did last year and have continued that form by only getting 2 points. For Group D, I had Inter winning the group with Benfica second, Sociedad third, and Salzburg fourth. Sociedad ended up winning the group on the same points as Inter Milan, with Benfica coming third. They were really poor. I cannot believe how bad Benfica were in this group stage, because they've got some fantastic players, and yet they just did not turn up. So, fair enough, that was a really hard group, and I'm not that upset I got it that wrong. Group E was a tough one, but I went Atletico top, I went Feyenoord second, Lazio third, and Celtic rock bottom. It's Brendan Rodgers. Atletico did end up winning the group with Lazio coming second, Feyenoord dropping into the Europa League, and Celtic making Brendan Rodgers statistically the worst manager in Champions League history. So, hey, I'll take that. Group F, the group of death. I said that PSG would win this group with Dortmund finishing second. I didn't think Newcastle had enough in them in order to get through in this group. I put them down as third with Milan bottom. I was right with who went through. Obviously, Dortmund topped the group rather than PSG. Milan and Newcastle did switch round and Milan went into the Europa League with Newcastle finishing bottom. They did get very, very unlucky with the late PSG penalty in one of their games, to be fair to them. And they did have a lot of injuries. So maybe they could have gone through had they not been unlucky with those two things. But I didn't think they had enough. They didn't. I got the top two right. Just very hard to call in that harder group. Group G, obviously I put Man City top, followed by Leipzig, then Red Star and Young Boys bottom. Red Star actually got 1 point and Young Boys got 4, but the other two were basically nailed on, so it was just a flip between third and fourth in that one. And the final group, I put it as the group stood. Barca, Porto, Shakhtar, and then Antwerp. And that is how it ended up finishing. Barca did lose to Antwerp on the last day, but they'd already guaranteed that they were finishing top of the group, so it really didn't matter. So how did your predictions go compared to mine, and what are your new predictions for the next round of the Champions League? Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys for another video soon. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, in a bit.